First, you need to draw a rectangle if you don't want to do it the size of your paper. It's always easy to have a bit of a border. Then you're going to take your lightest green. If you don't have many greens, you don't press quite so hard with the pencil. So first you're going to do a trunk, and it's going to go right from the bottom all the way to the top, and then you colour it in. So it must reach the top of your rectangle. You're then going to draw in some branches. So you want to go about 2/3 of the way up, and they go off at an angle, not directly out to the side, but off at an angle. And then you split that branch. And you can put a couple of others in. Same on the other side, split the branch. A couple going off to the side. They're all pointing in pretty much the same direction. And then you're going to do this again. So you want to spread them out and go all the way to the top. Remember your tree, because it's almost as though we can't see the tops of the trees. They must go to the top. So I've done this a few times, and you can see that each time there is a main branch or a main trunk that goes right up to the top. And even my branches go right to the edges because they might not fit in the frame we've got. So you go right to the edges and they're all pointing up. I've also put a few lighter ones in randomly as well, because these are the ones that are even further in the distance. The further things are away, the lighter they are. So I'm just putting in a few smaller ones here, and they are randomly dotted around. Now I'm going to put in a general green background ever so faintly, really, really faintly. And to do this, I'm going to hold the pencil where my fingertip is running along the lead, along the colour. So I'm holding the pencil very, very flat. That means that I'm not getting really tiny thin strokes. I'm getting quite wide strokes. I'm only pressing lightly, and this is just to get rid of the white. It's ever so slight. You can see how I'm holding it there. Once you've done that, you need to get your next tone of green that is one up, slightly darker than the one you have just used. And you're going to do the same again, drawing more trees. Now you can go over your trees because the trees aren't placed in lines, so to speak, so that you can see them all in nature. They've just grown where they grow. So you will be going over the top of some of the trees that you've already drawn. And you do the same again. Remember, branches are all kind of pointing up towards the top. They don't go out to the sides. They all eventually make their way up. And again, you're going to dot these around the area, going right from the bottom all the way to the top. Remember, you have one main one that must reach the top. And these are randomly placed. They're not evenly spaced, they're random. Going over the top what you've already done. And you can do the odd little sapling, the odd small one too. Now I'm going to go for an even darker one now. So the next shade up. And you repeat the process. So now I've only done 2 of those, and I'm going to get my darkest colour now, and I'm going to do the main tree. So this one will be slightly thicker with the trunk, but it is still going to go all the way to the top because things are bigger as they get to you, so you're definitely going to have a bigger trunk. And you can see that it's almost like a river. The branches are pulling away from the main trunk, and I am splitting them in 2 at lots of opportunities, and I kind of curve away from the edge there, from the side of the trunk. I'm trying not to let the branches be too straight. I want to make it more organic looking. Now this is where I'm going for my main feature branch, which is spreading out across the forest. let it get thinner as it gets to the end of the branch. Now I'm sending a few smaller branches off from this one. Using the same technique as I do from the trunk, they split, so they're creating like a V wherever they split. So split it, split that one, split that one. So everything's been split into two. Any branch that comes off I split into two. So now I'm going to put on the leaves. Now what I do is I don't draw perfect leaves, and they're not always touching the branch either. Literally little dashes around the branches. Like I said, they don't have to be attached to the branches. Going off randomly. Once you've done all the leaves, you're then going to do the grass that's closest to you. So I'm keeping that dark colour, drawing my baseline, and then just lots of up and down motions to create the grass. And sometimes I'll make it a bit taller in some places, and sometimes I'll make it smaller. And this keeps it nice and random like grass. Finished.